Alright, so welcome to the IMR for the 4th of September 2015. Just as expected from last week, the market has gone down. Any up moves have swiftly been corrected, and to just quickly bring last week's notes back. So we had basically said that there are really no triggers for the market going forward, and everything is clearly um, bearish, including the FIIs and especially the DIIs, which was a surprise. And if you remember, we had said at best neutral, but most likely to be bearish, and there are really no triggers for the next several weeks. So one more week gone by, and really nothing much has changed. We also quickly talked about the Nifty P valuations and that cut to a 25% cut to make it really attractive PE wise would make it go to 6,000, which would really be attractive. We also looked and saw, to I think at least definitely my surprise, healthcare, metals and realty are not good places to short, and maybe they could even be places to accumulate, while the capital goods Nifty and the bank Nifty were really good shots, right? So essentially that. And then if we really look at for this week, uh, some rumors getting stronger about Raghuram Rajan maybe cutting rates. Looks like everybody's this is their last ditch hope. And now there's again, this happened last week also, and I think the week before that, Monday rate cut, right? But I think the next RBI policy is on the 29th, if I'm not wrong. If anybody has a date, please put that in. Yeah, right. 29th September, right? And apart from that, really, nothing much that has happened as far as I know in the world. So that's it. So nothing really fundamentally that has changed, right? Okay, so let's start this time with the option pain data by Vidya. And for those of us who are all right, so thank you for the confirmation, Amish. So Amish is confirming that 29th September is definitely the um, meet. So 19th, 18th, 17th, 18th, 19th FOMC meet, and then a week after that. But anything could happen before that, right? Okay. So and that will be the fourth bi-monthly policy statement for the year 2015-2016. Great. Okay. So if you look at the option pain and we look at how this has behaved in the last week, and we are starting with 31st August here, right? And I'm just going to go forward by pressing next here. Then right. Okay. So what you can see is the right side, the calls, right? The build up which is going to happen on this side. So this is what I want you to really focus on, and you're going to see this blue shaded area really increase a lot, right? So you can see that blue one, right? So that has now come to 4th of September, right? So just to go back and start all over again, just observe how the both the right and left side change, but basically the right changes a lot more. And one more thing to notice, I don't know if you saw that, is how this vertical line actually shifted down from I think 8,100 to 8,000, right? So that means I'll come to that, all right? So and then essentially where the neutral place for the market is right now in order for option writers to lose the least amount of money is at 8,000, and there's been a tremendous build up in the amount of calls which are there. Now if you look at this other data, the future index, and we had discussed about the going long and short on that, you can see that essentially the FIIs have you know are long on the index futures. They also short but long by 59%, and their long has gone from 59 to 62 and then come down here. And what is um okay, I was looking to see if there was anything. Yeah, so in this data, so that's both okay, really nothing much there. And then in the stock futures, if you look at it, so each two candles is both future stock long and future stock short, right? So and each is for so you've got 3 days of data here basically, right? uh, and what you can see is that on the future stock, just like the last weekend, the FIs remain strongly bearish, including the DIIs who are strongly bearish, and the guys who are long are basically individual clients, HNIs, and to some extent FIIs, right? On the index options, I'll just avoid that first part and I'm just going to stick to the lower part here. What you can see is so you're starting this one with option index called long, option index called short, and you can see that this is option index put, right? The puts are 2:1 almost in strength. So you're looking at 63% of the long puts are being held by FIIs, and the guys who are shorting are again the clients, etc. Right? So yesterday we had a bounce in the market, and today the market has promptly gone down again. So these are all like temporary things that are actually holding out. Um, so net the bearishness definitely continuing quite strongly. Really no change in that at all. If we come to how the options data has changed in the last week, then you can see one thing, which is that as far as the puts are concerned, and that is on the left side here, this is all the puts for the September expiry. You can see that there's been a big decrease in puts above 7,700, and actually a big increase at 7,500, and then at 7,200. And if you look at where the strongest levels are, it would actually be at say 7.8. But what is definitely interesting is that at 7.8 there has been an increase as of today. Okay, some amount of buying has happened, but the puts, as we know, have been bought by basically the FIIs. The next strong level is actually 7.5, right? But at that 7.5 level, uh, yeah, so at 7.5 you can see actually the build up. So if you can see the 7.5, you can see that from 31st August till 4th of September, it's becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. So if 7.8 gives away, and which it has, then the next strong support is only at 7.5, and then some support at 7.4, and then at 7.2. So we'll wait for that, right? So essentially we'll just see so we could expect it to go to 7.5 and then maybe 7.4. I don't think 7.3 is going to be much of a support, and then 7.2. On the call side, so coming to the right side of this chart, we can see that the strongest resistance or OI level is at the 8,200 mark, and the biggest build-up that has happened yes, today actually is at the 7,700 mark, right? So on the call side, the 7,700 and the 7,800 have seen significant build up. And what is interesting here perhaps is that if we look at the index, then um, it's essentially even split between retail HNIs who are long on the calls and the FIIs who are long on the calls, right? And the people who are shorting are again FIIs, so 36 and 32, not much of a difference, and also the individual. So sort of a very balanced thing, I would say, on the call side. But on the put side, it's I think very clear exactly where different participants are positioned, right? So even if one was looking for some hope, I would say as far as the calls are concerned, you're looking at basically a balanced situation between call writers and call holders on the call side. But when it comes to the put side, I think we've got something very clear cut, which is the puts are being bought basically by the FI. So essentially, last week's um, um, view continues. Really, no change. If anything, I would say to some extent it has been strengthened, right? So with that, let's quickly jump into the technical charts, and what should come up on your screen is the S&P Nifty, right? Actually, not called the S&P anymore. And what you can see on today's chart is the breakdown further. This hammer low was really not confirmed at any point, or even if one looked at these candles and said there was some confirmation, I would say it was very weak. And then today, very decisive fall. Also yesterday, this move here, a sort of a harami, really nothing happening, but a fall continuing down. We've got further down moves here, which are, you know, um, taking the market further down. There's this trend line here, downtrend line. Let me just make it, yep, right, more visible. And you can see that that's where it has really bounced off from. So maybe you'll get a bounce just because that down support has been hit, but that bounce is again likely to be very weak and may take it up to maybe 77.50 or 78 tops, and then probably a fall again below to 75, 7400. So it's very much a sell on rises market, right? And really nothing much else, right? Just want to quickly review based on what we said last time, the sector indices and see how that went. So if you look at to look at the BSE metals, right, right, and we were talking about divergences there, I think, if I remember right. Okay. Right, so what's very clear about the BSE metal side is that while you do have a red candle today, you really do not have a lower low like you saw in the Nifty, right? So for now, maybe, and it's very tentative, one could say there is some amount of support which is definitely appearing on the metal side, and this however will take time because this is very negative right now, and MACD crossover is happening, so we'll have to wait and see whether this can provide some strength. But like I said, the metal space, there was definitely some amount of strength, and we had basically mentioned this whole thing about the MACD being at the extreme low levels over many years. So that is something still to continue tracking on at this point. Okay. Right. Okay, so that's the metal index, and so the strength continuing to show up as long as it doesn't go below the low here at 6,700. I think we can maybe expect certain bottoms to happen, but then a little skeptical, because if the Nifty is going to go to, let's say, 7,000 or even 6.3 or 6.5, a little tough to see that no index is going to go down. But whichever index does not go down, that's the one to sort of concentrate and look at putting your money in, right? Okay, so that's the metal index, and then we had the reality, which was the other one which we said would show strength. And coming to, so this is the uh, daily chart, and what you can see is that indeed again it hasn't really made lower lows, and some amount of strength appearing again in the uh, reality index. So till this level is actually broken out, which is at 1,290, we are really not going to see much more of an up move. So that is another place to watch. And like I said last time, the gap has been closed. Then the other one which had which was showing some strength, was the consumer durable index. And well, this time nice bounce today, right? Nice recovery from the lows of the day, still above the 200-day moving average, which is a good sign. And then again, we'll have to see how this evolves, but some strength is definitely there. All right, so very much in line with what we discussed last time about how some of these sectors are actually showing strength. Let's go back to our regular sectors, and those, I mean regular other sectors, and those continue to show weakness. So you can see the auto going down, really nothing new on this, going down just like the rest of the Nifty and other indices, right? Lower lows. Capital goods also, you're looking at very much similar charts across the board. I think from here on, BSE capital goods also making lower lows, really no strength at all. FMCG, you can see the lower low, except that the last week's low is still not yet taken out, unlike some of the other indices. But the way it's gone down today with a strong candle, that is definitely some cause of concern, but relatively speaking showing some strength compared to the Nifty, right? Then we've got healthcare, and last time we said healthcare might show some strength. It did for a week, but today it has really collapsed. So healthcare also joining the downside move. It's very tough to resist the stronger moves. IT, we look at the CNX IT, but more or less should be the same thing. It's just come down, and you can see how beautifully these levels actually all right, these levels actually pan out. You can see that those highs very similar, 11,300, and now it's hitting those longer term moving averages. And if it breaks down, then we're going much lower. Right. We looked at metals, mid caps showing some strength, but that's also off now. PSU again really very weak. PLT we had discussed. Small cap showing some strength for the whole week, but again, capitulated today. Okay, okay, I'm going to skip this. right? So this is the Sensex, and you can see how the Sensex has really tanked, and 25,000 might be some psychological support for the Sensex, but very unlikely that it's going to hold at this point. Okay, so we just have to wait and watch. Mm, right. And if 25,000, the psychological mark gives way, then like I said, for the Nifty equivalent, this next support will be closer to these levels of around 22,000 800, right? So okay, Bank Nifty most important, right? And you can see that this has really come off a lot, very weak, really no strength at all in the Bank Nifty. It has uh, I wouldn't say collapse, but clearly a lot of weakness is there in that. Okay, all right. So Bank Nifty, some recovery today, but again, I don't think till it comes to 15,000 you're going to see any good support. Maybe some support here, right? So that is at 15.5, but it probably needs to come down to at least those levels. Okay, right. The power index. Right. So what's interesting about the power index is, well, there was a sort of wondering whether tweezers bottom, but really, I don't think so. It's going to go lower. And the CNX IT, well, you can see how it's really collapsed today, sitting at the 200-day moving average, and probably needs to break down from that to and seek lower levels, in my opinion. Right. Nifty Junior, complete breakdown here. Right. Really no support at all. Right. CNX Energy breaking down from multi-year supports. This is a very strong support here of about 3 years, and really not able to hold out. But like I said, CNX Energy is a mixed bag between your oil drilling and oil marketing companies, so really tough to take a call. CNX Infra, so I doubt this is going to hold, but you more or less have a tweezers bottom, and really will be interesting to watch on Monday what happens. Most probably will break down, and if it does, then definitely lower levels on the cards, right? Okay. Mm, okay, pharma. PSU Bank down with the rest of the banks. So yeah, so that's it. Actually, so this is interesting because if you look at the Nifty has clearly made lower lows. Even this level has this low of the hammer has been taken out. But you saw quite a lot of sectors today which actually did not make lower lows compared to the Nifty. right? This low for many of the sectors had been held, and there's actually some amount of strength which is actually there in the um, other sectors. So bank Nifty, autos, and Nifty overall, I think the weakest. Capital goods also, and if you remember about a month back when we were doing some, I think, a more in-depth review of fundamentals of all the sectors, we kept saying that the auto was the most expensive one, and it was really, really expensive. And if you look at how autos have fallen, perhaps I wouldn't know. It would be good to see and do some maths on it. Perhaps the most hit stocks that have been there, and they just need to correct for valuations to happen, right? Okay. So I'm going to just look at all the Nifty stocks today, all right, and sort of go back to our older format, and let's see how that goes, because as you saw, some sectors were showing strength and some were not. Be interesting to see how individual stocks have been performing. So you have ACC here, and at this point, there are a lot of stocks which could perhaps be at important support levels, and ACC is perhaps a case in point, and it has come to um, it is close to a 3-4 year level. Today it has fallen very sharply. You can see this big red candle, but that's the nature of the bear market. And you can see the high here of yesterday is 1398, and the high here is 1398, right? 20 paisa difference. That's as good as it gets. You have the 50-day exponential moving average right there, and it has collapsed. The question is whether this low will be broken or not, or whether we're going to see some sort of support build up happen here, right? So we'll just have to wait and watch for that, right? So that's ACC, right? If ACC breaks, I think 1315, yep, then definitely not only 1300 but 1270, I think, is on the cards. Any move up till 1390, 1400 should be used to short, and this can definitely get extended like that. Okay, Ambuja Cement not showing the sort of weakness that ACC is, and the MACD tentatively doing a crossover, and maybe something to watch out for at 205 200 levels might definitely be a place to buy this, right? So something I would suspect is cooking in Ambuja Cement relative to ACC. Really no confirmation at this point. You still have a lot of exchange of hands going on, so we'll just have to wait and watch on this. So while we are on this, let's look at Ultratech, and Ultratech also coming down, but showing the most strength probably, right? So Ultratech, mm, yeah, it showed, relatively speaking, the strongest recovery of all the cement stocks. Again, recovery on low volumes though. Some amount of selling today, MACD potential crossover, so may not be the best thing to short in my opinion. Short only if it goes below 28.75, otherwise there could be some strength definitely appearing here, right? Asian Paints, um, you can see the volumes sort of coming down now on Asian Paints. The downtrend momentum is still there, 780 could be a good support. It could be a good trading opportunity here. 780, you buy it, it goes to 800, 810, and then you sell it. But still, the downtrend move is definitely very much on the cards for now. Axis Bank, so rest of the, all the banks down, and this has just gone down with that. Really nothing to add. Very sitting at a very important support of 463. If 463 breaks, then, well, we could easily be falling to 420. How convenient. And that's the thing to watch. So Axis Bank, I think, definitely a stock to watch for potential shorts if it breaks below 460, or I would even say that if it goes up, right, if it goes up a little to about 475, that will be a place to short Axis Bank with a stop loss below 485, and once it's below that, then 420 is a potential target. Bharti Airtel, surprise, surprise, showing strength here. Wonder what's going on here. Not much of a volume build-up, right? But has risen with, depending on how you want to look at it, slightly higher volumes. Still, until it breaks above 360 would not be a very safe buy. But on the other hand, the question that we have to ask is this no longer a good shot, right? So I would probably stay away from Bharti for now. It is at a support zone, as you can see, right? Over almost 8 years, this is the zone that we are talking about, and you may just want to observe Bharti and how it behaves there rather than be too eager to go long or short on this. BHEL, well, really no chance. It's going down on lower volumes. I don't see any support on BHEL for quite some time. 200 psychological mark, I think that's where you want to just sit and observe and see how that 200 behaves. Most likely it will could hold, but 195 temporary hold, I would say, but still any bounce short it, and then oh, this is really interesting. If 200 goes, then on BHEL, then really not much of a support. If you remember, BHEL came out with pretty bad quarterly results, and a breakdown from there could take BHEL easily to 160, 170, maybe even 150. Right. So weekly chart, you can see very strong red mm, candle for the week. Any bounce, I would, BHL could become a really good stock to short if and when a bounce happens of any decent nature, right? One technically, I mean, quarter results wise was really bad, and I don't think it's going to get good at all. 200, wait and watch, and if 200 breaks, then 170 target. BPCL, so this one showing some strength, but really nothing on the volumes right now. MACD basing out, RSI starting to rise up. Could be a sign of strength coming up, but really a good long on BPCL is only above 870, 880 levels. Might as well just stay on the sidelines on that. Vidya VHL is also within 2% to 5% of 52-week low. All right, fine, okay. Thank you for that input. Actually, haven't been able to generate the DMR for some time. Having some connectivity problems with the old laptop. Okay, ATL is near the 52-week low, all right, and BHL is also within the 52-week low. Thanks, Vidya. All right, Coal India. Hmm. So, is Coal India forming a double bottom here? That is something to watch out for. It has corrected from 440 to 340, almost 30-35% correction, and this is definitely at a important multi-year support. As you can see, Coal India there could be a place where it at least halts the fall for some time. You can see the appearance of lower shadows and could be some support happening here, right? Okay, and you can see interesting. BHEL, sorry, Coal India could be turning out to be a buying opportunity. We'll have to wait and watch. Volumes are very tentative, so if Coal India breaks 335, then may not actually go down too much, 315, 320. But if 335, 340 holds, then 360, 365 is an immediate upside target. So, yep. ITC. Okay, are we getting into a triangle here? Could be, but really, not really getting that triangle picture. But some sort of consolidation seems to be happening. A lot of moving averages converging right from 330 here. We have the 200-day moving average, and then down here 315 you've got um, good support. You can see long shadows all over the place, so a lot of conflict in the market, but I would side with the bulls seeming to pull this stock back up. Might go range bound, probably go range bound for the next 2 weeks. Good time to sell options, I think 330 call, or maybe the 305 or the 300 put. And if it does break out as in an ascending triangle, though the volumes are completely atypical, then we would review that, and that time you could be looking at almost a 20 rupee move, which is almost 8 to 9%. Okay. Kotak, so Kotak Bank really getting corrected, 740 to 606. Not a sell-off on high volume, but I believe the downside momentum continues. Let's look and see where the next support for Kotak Bank is. 500, and then this is a good support around 550, right? So we'll review after that, but definitely it's a sell on rise. If it comes to around 625, 630, sell. I think it will settle down only if it comes to 575 or something, and then again we review. A good risk reward on a bounce up, stop loss around 635, 640, and a target of 570. Okay. LNT, so the big daddy in the CNX IT space, really correcting, not going anywhere. No sign of hope. 1500 psychological mark at this point looks unlikely to hold. The selling has gotten intensified. No strength appearing at all on any of the indicators. And if 1500 breaks, then When are we perhaps even looking at something around 1300, 1350 is the question. Okay. Lupin, not bad, holding out, but healthcare index came down. This one volume is not saying much. MACD may do a negative crossover, and we might just see Lupin come to 1800. But good support. Wouldn't be in too much of a hurry to short it. Just wait and watch. M&M. Huh. So autos, you can see the big sell-off, right? Red candles. Really no confirmation today. If this low of 1090 breaks, then right, so watch this. Watch how these levels and those levels, 1100 odd, so nice, right? And this is interesting. If 1100 on M&M breaks, then there is really not much support till 975 to that 1000 level. So we could see easily another 10% correction on M&M from these levels, right? So it's given up quite a lot. Oh, what happened? Okay. Maruti. So Maruti went from 4,600, 4,700 to almost 4,000, right? The low here was 4010, right? So, and then it could go down to 39. Not sure how that S cross has been received by the market. Whatever I've read doesn't seem to be very good. Good resistance at 4250. If it does move up, then that's the time you may want to short it at 4250 with a stop loss at 4300 above and a target again at 4050. And on the other hand, if 4000 breaks, promptly short it with a stop loss of 4070. First target 39, second target 3750. NMDC. Wow, interesting. Nice move up from its life low, right? So actually made a new life low there, 90 rupees. So what was the low? Exactly at 90 rupees. And after making that life low, nice bounce from 90 to 100, but today has come down and actually tough to say what's going on here. I mean, is there accumulation going on? Obviously somebody is buying. 90 to 100, more than a 10% move, and then today down to 96. Mm, really interesting to see. And metals again, you're talking about metals sort of bottoming out. This could definitely be there, right? Okay. NTPC, really no support. Is there some other sale of NTPC going to happen again? I don't know. The OFS, we'll have to see. All right. ONGC. So ONGC seems to be stabilizing. MACD has, sort of but not really. I would stay away from ONGC, and until it crosses above 245 or breaks below 220, we are probably not going to see anything new on ONGC, right? PNB, Punjab National Bank. Okay, the fact that it has done a really smart recovery today, wondering whether it's a harbinger for anything, right? Too early to say, but still. This price of 111 multi-year support of almost 8 years comes there. Watch out for it. Could buy only above 145, but otherwise perhaps not a good thing to short. Showing good strength at the bottom. Power grid bearish clearly. The downside momentum actually building up. Any move up for 125, 128 should be used to short, and this level, once it breaks 122, which it at this point looks like it is going to, right? Not good at all. Next good support is more like at 113, 115, right? Okay. Reliance. So Reliance, whether a support is being put, MACD closing out, a lot of activity at that 850, 830 mark. You can see this volume has increased substantially, and with their geo launch, could be happening anytime. A little tough to say how the market is going to reward or punish Reliance for that. Just have to wait and watch. So for now, I guess it's really wait and watch on Reliance. All right, there we have it. Okay. State Bank of India. Wow. So this one has really fallen, right? Looks like it's headed to its multi-year support of 207. It is at 225, almost a 3% cut today or more, and really no hope. I mean, any bounce on State Bank of India should be used to short it, which is very interesting compared to PNB. PNB, you saw a lot of strength at lower levels, and State Bank of India, you are seeing almost the complete opposite, right? Sun Pharma, well, could go to 800. If it does go to 800, possibly a good buy at those levels rather than a short. So I wouldn't short it, rather wait and watch. But if does 800 does break, then you have a very quick good short possible till about 350, and we would review after that. Tata Motors is going off and off and off. Recent report on Tata Motors fundamental, talking about a 47% upside potential in the next 1 year. That is huge. So in terms of valuations, it's fallen by half. The stock, you can see it was 600 rupees. Now it has come almost to 300 rupees. That's a massive fall. How much more? That'll obviously be a good question. but it's come back basically to its 2010 peak. And if it goes to 200, I really wonder whether things are that bad fundamentally in Tata Motors. It has been a massive, massive outperformer. Of course, JLR and China are issues, but maybe, and most probably I'm going to be high chance of being wrong on this side. You can see the very, very large increase in volume, right? So there was a lot of increase in volume at that time, and you're getting, excuse me, very high volumes here. Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Longer term multi-week downtrend is definitely still there, but you can see that as far as the shorter term multi-day stuff is concerned, you're actually getting it's not really reliable. But June versus August, the MACD has actually stabilized, though it's still negative, negative, negative. Premature, but wondering whether some sign of strength might be appearing. Uh, Tata Motors DVR hasn't fallen so much. It's fallen from about 400 to 235, right? Um, it's not so much of a 50% cut as you saw in some of the other ones. And really like to track this. Symmetrical triangle. Let's see how which side it breaks out. Is Tata Motors also having that? Well, let's put that trend line and see how this holds next week. Okay. Tata Power sell off happening. Question is whether this level would hold. All right. Tata Steel, and what you can see in Tata Steel is again, just like the metal index and NMDC, etc. The lows seem to be holding quite well. It's at from 200 last week. It has gone to almost 230, a 10% recovery, and then a slight fall today on well, not good volumes at all, so low volumes. So potential bottoms that could be happening in this space. 200 rupees, multi-year, 2-year support, almost low to at the 2008-9 lows. If it falls around the 50 rupees, we'll just have to wait and watch. All right. TCS going sideways, really nothing much else to say. Stay away from it till it either breaks down below 2400 or it breaks out above 2750. Probably a good time to write options on TCS. Tech Mahindra. Okay. So from 460 went to 580, has dropped to 500 and gone to 540. Could say it's in an uptrend actually, right? I haven't seen any stock so far where you can say you've actually got a higher top, higher bottom. Certainly you can say that for Tech Mahindra, and that's definitely interesting. All right, Ultratech Cement, we finished that. Vedanta, so that's again 80 to 90, 80 to 100, very smart recovery, high of 99.90 and a high of 99.95. Right, as good as you can get a tweezer stop here. Multi-year, whoa, this has come to a 2008-9 low, right? VEDL, formerly a Sterlite, Sesa Sterlite, right? Is this a good buy? Really could be. Didn't expect to find a stock at 2008 lows, but well, here you are. From going to 500, it has come to 74, 73 rupees. All right. Would be great if we had a fundamental review on this, and wondering if some people recognizing that have actually started accumulating this stock. Uh, you could actually see that in March, May of this year, actually a lot of buying that happened, and then something went wrong. Sorry, May of 2014, and then it has corrected from 250 to 100 minus, and then again you can see a lot of volume build up. So um, I generally tend to believe that when you have big falls like this, and I think it's been supported by data also, that the buyers are definitely the smarter ones, the sellers are the weak guys, the retail guys. So going with a very contrarian point of view, where we are saying that the people who are buying here, and that too in good volumes, are more knowledgeable, more insightful, have more data, more experience, etc., then one might actually want to look at buying these rather than selling this. And also remember that this is part of our metal pack. Wipro, well, just like TCS, going sideways, best to do nothing about it. Write options, write the 600, the 620 call, and also the 530 or 520 put. Right. Yep, nothing much. And then Yes Bank. Okay, some strength, but it's best to, I think, wait and watch, see how the psychological mark 700 was used to short the stock, or high of 705 and then the high of 701, and then it's actually 650, right? MACD some strength, so again wait and watch. And finally Z. Okay, so Z, um, okay. So Z really not showing any direction at this point. 355 good support, and 390 good resistance, so just let it settle down, and then we would review and see what best would happen, right? If 350 breaks, then that could be a good shot, but at this point that is looking a little unlikely, right? Okay, 355 200-day moving average, that's what we want to watch out for. All right. Okay, so fine. I mean, really not much. Actually, quite interesting, because some long things are some stocks that would potentially be long trading positions. Can't say they're long investment positions yet, given that the Nifty has not yet settled down. Long trading positions. These are definitely things to track. Things like VDL, Tata Motors, Tata Steel. in quite a few stocks. The thing about what one would want to do is compare and do a relative comparison, like I said, between the Nifty, which has made lower lows, but many stocks that we are seeing actually have not made lower lows, and the Nifty is being dragged down basically by a few select stocks. This requires definitely further investigation. It'd be worthwhile to find out which are the ones which are underperforming, outperforming, to find potential buying and shorting opportunities. Seems to me, however, that from the last week to now, there seem to be more stocks which are not making newer lows, at least in the Nifty basket, than are. So the few stocks that are making lower lows or sectors like Bank Nifty, which are making lower lows, are the ones which are actually dragging the Nifty down, while others are actually also putting the market down, of course, because today everything went down almost. But that relative outperformance is a place to investigate to find opportunities to be on the contrarian side of the market, right? Which we it's not tough to do, but takes a lot of time to do. You want to compare the moves from point to point of one stock versus another, basically about one index. Take a main index and compare that with individual stocks and components, or even stocks outside the index, right? So if anybody has the enthusiasm, inclination to do it, would love to collaborate. Just let me know. If you need any help or support, and I'd be happy to talk to you about that. The logic is simple. The what it's going to take is the time and effort, right? Okay, so with that, I'm going to close the session today. Thank you very much for your participation. Um, just watch out for this rumor gaining ground about um, uh, RBI policy, and Vidya is asking, after today evening US job data release, major indices are in the red. So you are referring to US stuff, right? So just let's quickly have a look at that. Uh, Reuters. All right, so Dow down 1.5%, S&P down 1.3%, Nasdaq down 0.8%. All right, so you can see that this is um, um, this is really interesting. So it says Wall Street lower as mixed job reports acts to uncertainty. Then the other thing, U.S. labor market shows some muscle despite slower job growth. Um, uh, so really don't know. Um, is it strong? Is it not strong? We'll have to see. And then there's this Fed's lacquer who is a member of the FOMC uh, saying we'll go into September policy meeting with an open mind. This is like, what is um, what is he saying? It really doesn't mean um, anything to read. So we just have to wait for them to uh, decide, and then we will see. All right. All right, some interesting news. So one, of course, is this is the hundreds of migrants broke out of Hungarian camp and set off to Budapest. Okay, it's interesting to see how Europe is going to react to all of this. Iran becoming an issue between Saudi Arabia and US, and okay, you'll have to wait and watch. But nothing market shattering, I think, is going to um, mm, change here as far as the Saudi Arabia and all that is concerned. Right. Okay. Uh, Done. So US basically down, and if it does continue down, let's look at the US chart 1 second. Finance yahoo.com. So if you look at the Dow, hi, can you see me looking at the, or has the screen frozen? You should be able to see the Dow Jones screen on your side. Yeah, okay, it's taking time. All right, so look at the 5-day trend. Okay, so Dow Jones, maybe some base formation around 16,000, right? But would be too early to say. And uh, again, I think this title here makes it all clear. When will the Fed make its move? And I think the Dow Jones is also probably not going to do much. So 16,000 plus minus say 400-500 points on the Dow Jones for the next 2 weeks basically, and then we'll know what else there is, right? Okay, so that's it. I'm going to stop here. So with this, at least as the short-term thing is concerned, if the Dow Jones does not recover, then we are probably further down on Monday as far as India is concerned. And while actually, if you see Dow Jones did not make a new low unless it does that today, compared to say 1st of September, we have actually made new lows in the Nifty, Bank Nifty, etc. So definitely we are not on such a strong footing as just relatively speaking, as the Dow Jones is. So even more bearish news for Monday, I guess, as far as the Indian market is concerned. But just to reiterate, I think I'm just going to just drag this back. The last week's IMR notes, really nothing much changed. Some strength is definitely happening, and we just continue with this theme for probably the next couple of weeks. All right, so I think that's it. So we will close the session here today. Recording should be up by tomorrow morning or tomorrow noon maximum, right? Okay, thank you and good night. Have a great weekend and happy shorting again next week. But be careful where you short. Not everything is a great shot, right? All right.